Hi, I'm Chris Sangster, and welcome back to the studio. Today, I want to show you 3 amazing free plugins that are excellent alternatives to some really expensive plugins that I use all the time. And we're going to dive into these free options by replacing some of the mix elements with them in my song Find a Way. To start, let's look at something that is a vital part of my mixing workflow: analog console emulation. I run all of my tracks through an analog console emulating plugin from the very beginning of the mixing process. This is because I want to add some analog saturation and, importantly, some non-linearity to the sound of my tracks right away. This takes away any digital blandness from the very beginning of the mixing process and allows me to mix faster and more effectively. And the plugin I use to achieve this is the Virtual Console Collection from Slate Digital. I put one of the track versions on each of my submix aux tracks that all of my individual tracks are routed to, and then the mix bus version on my mix bus. Virtual Console Collection is part of the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack, which is an excellent set of plugins. However, it ain't cheap. Right now, it's only available as part of the Slate Digital All Access Pass, which will run you a tidy $150 a year. However, if you want the console emulation without the price tag, look no further than Console from Analog Obsession. Like VCC, it has 2 different modes, one for your tracks and one for the mix bus. It has simple input and output gain knobs. It also has 2 bands of shelving EQ, which is very cool and something that VCC doesn't have. It also has 3 different console models to choose from. There's Gray, which Analog Obsession calls 016 tube-based in their documentation. From that, I gather this is emulating a Universal Audio 610 console, which was Universal Audio's answer to the EMI Red consoles. Both are tube-based designs. Then there's Blue, which they call 73 UK console transistor-based. No big secret there, that's going to be emulating a Neve console with 1073 preamps. And finally, there's Black Mode, which they call Logic 4 console op-amp based. Again, not hiding much there. This is going to be emulating the SSL 4K range of consoles. Another good note I found on their website is that the EQ module is emulating a Neve EQ, so we can expect that to sound warm and full. Also, don't forget to turn the transformer emulation on with this switch here if you want the most analog color possible. So let's compare it to the VCC on Find a Way, with both plugins on their Neve settings.
Find a way to the bottom of this bottle that I drank. And find a way to discover what could be my missing link.
While tonally, I think it sounds great and is an amazing free alternative to the expensive and subscription requiring VCC, I will say the functionality is a bit more limited. I wish it had the ability to add positive or negative input gain, not only an input boost, as well as the ability to link multiple instances of the plugin together for easier tweaking. But again, still an amazing free option if you want to include console emulation in your mixing workflow. Next up, let's look at one of my favorite free instrument plugins, the Spitfire Audio Labs. This is an incredible suite of free instruments all housed within one plugin, and I find it to be a great free alternative to Native Instruments Contact. You certainly don't get as many instrument options as with Contact, but at the time of this recording, the standard complete package for Contact costs $600 and the collector's edition costs $1,800. So you're getting a lot of bang for no bucks with Spitfire Labs. And the thing I really love about it is that it contains a lot of unique sounding patches. And with all of these free instruments to choose from, great artwork by the way, you'll be sure to find something interesting to add to your next production. But they also have useful standard instrument sounds like pianos and strings, So let's try replacing the Wurlitzer part in Find a Way with an option from Spitfire Labs. I used my Korg SV1 to record the original whirly part, and that cost me about $2,000 new. So let's see if we can get close to the sound of it with a free plugin. This patch sounds like a good starting point. Let's record the part. Now, to keep with the spirit of this video, let's process this track with only free or stock plugins. And good news, we have a bonus free plugin here that I actually used in the original mix. It's Multiply from Acon Digital, and I absolutely love the Rhodes chorus preset on all electric pianos. We'll use the pedal board tremolo instead of tremolator and space designer instead of Verb Suite Classics. Let's compare. Definitely not a one-to-one match by any means, but still a cool and useful keyboard tone that sounds great in the track. The last plugin we're going to look at is a replacement for FabFilter Pro Q3. Pro Q3 is probably my most used plugin, and I really love using it for something that's not possible with stock Logic plugins: dynamic EQ. However, Pro Q3 will set you back $170, and there's a free plugin that gives you all the same functionality in terms of dynamic EQ, and it even has a feature that Pro Q3 doesn't. And that is the Tokyo Dawn Labs Nova. It's limited to 4 bands, but each of those bands has full static and dynamic EQ capabilities, and it even features adjustable attack and release controls for the dynamic bands, something that I have long wanted to see added to Pro Q3. If you mix in Logic Pro and don't have FabFilter, I really cannot recommend this EQ plugin enough. EQ is the most important tool for mixing, and dynamic EQ is something I use in almost every single mix. And the place I use it on most frequently is vocals. And I use it to even out those changes in resonance that happen with different vowel shapes on different notes throughout a vocal performance. So let's take the exact settings I had in FabFilter and move them over to Nova for the lead vocal.
I've been searching for the reasons to hold on. Oh, and I've been changing like the seasons. There's treason in my soul. Oh.
Honestly, I think that sounds the exact same. With a digital EQ, we would expect that since it's not adding any type of saturation, but the fact that we can get this level of functionality for free is incredible. And just before we wrap up, I have another free download to tell you about, but this one's from me. Do you struggle with getting EQ right in your mixes? Do you find yourself endlessly tweaking EQ settings only to never really make your mixes sound any better? Or are you just simply overwhelmed by how to use an EQ? Well, don't worry, I got you. What you need is a process. And that's why I want you to go download Your Guide to EQ right now. In it, I lay out a step-by-step process that you can use every time you pull up an EQ plugin. Through this process, you will learn when to EQ, what type of EQ plugin to use, how to find the appropriate frequency to EQ, and how to find the appropriate level of boost or cut. All in an easy to follow 6-step guide. Hit the link in the description box below the like button and download your free copy today. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you learned about a great new free plugin that you can go download right now and then get back to making music. If you have any other great free plugin suggestions, drop them in the comments below. I would love to hear about them. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the studio next time. Thanks.